New Arabian Nights by Robert Louis Stevenson. Narrated by Jason Smith. The Suicide Club story of the young man with the cream tarts. During his residence in London, the accomplished Prince Florizel of Bohemia gained the affection of all classes by the seduction of his manner and by a well-considered generosity. He was a remarkable man even by what was known of him, and that was but a small part of what he actually did. Although of a placid temper in ordinary circumstances, and accustomed to take the world with as much philosophy as any ploughman, the Prince of Bohemia was not without a taste for ways of life more adventurous and eccentric than that to which he was destined by his birth. Now and then, when he fell into a low humor, when there was no laughable play to witness in any of the London theatres, and when the season of the year was unsuitable to those field sports in which he excelled all competitors, he would summon his confidant and master of the horse, Colonel Geraldine, and bid him prepare himself against an evening ramble. The master of the horse was a young officer of a brave and even temerarious disposition. He greeted the news with delight, and hastened to make ready. Long practice and a varied acquaintance of life had given him a singular facility in disguise. He could adapt not only his face and bearing, but his voice and almost his thoughts, to those of any rank, character, or nation, and in this way he diverted attention from the prince, and sometimes gained admission for the pair into strange societies. The civil authorities were never taken into the secret of these adventures. The imperturbable courage of the one and the ready invention and chivalrous devotion of the other had brought them through a score of dangerous passes, and they grew in confidence as time went on. One evening in March they were driven by a sharp fall of sleet into an oyster bar in the immediate neighborhood of Leicester Square. Colonel Geraldine was dressed and painted to represent a person connected with the press in reduced circumstances, while the prince had, as usual, travestied his appearance by the addition of false whiskers and a pair of large adhesive eyebrows. These lent him a shaggy and weather-beaten air, which, for one of his urbanity, formed the most impenetrable disguise. Thus equipped, the commander and his satellites sipped their brandy and soda in security. The bar was full of guests, male and female, but though more than one of these offered to fall into talk with our adventurers, none of them promised to grow interesting upon a nearer acquaintance. There was nothing present but the lees of London and the commonplace of disrespectability, and the prince had already fallen to yawning, and was beginning to grow weary of the whole excursion, when the swing doors were pushed violently open, and a young man, followed by a couple of commissionaries, entered the bar. Each of the commissionaries carried a large dish of cream tarts under a cover, which they at once removed, and the young man made the round of the company, and pressed these confections upon every one's acceptance with an exaggerated courtesy. Sometimes
Sample complete. Ready to continue?